And we're pretty much straight up, so I think we can go ahead and get started. Welcome, Christy. I see that you joined as well. My name is Jeff Hester. I'm I am the founder and editor of SoCalHiker.net and organizer of the SoCal Hiker 6-Pack of Peaks Challenge. Welcome to our February live stream. This is the second time we've done this. It's the first time using this software, so it's something a little bit new. Hopefully it's all working well for you all. And all of our Trailblazer and Explorer level challengers are invited to the live interaction. So you get a chance, this is your chance to really kind of interact with me one-on-one or one-on-a-few and get your questions answered, and we get a chance to kind of interact in that way. So I really appreciate you joining me, and I appreciate your questions, and hopefully we'll have some good interaction in the next 30 minutes or so. As you join, please, as I said, please make a note as to where you're from. I can call you Sarah. Sarah, I'll just say Sarah. That makes sense. I can do that. So as you join, as new folks join, encourage them to share where they're from, and if this is their first, second, or third time doing the 6-pack. This will be actually my fourth time doing the 6-pack in a given calendar year. The first time was back in 2010. Wasn't an official challenge at that point, just something that I thought up for training for the John Muir Trail. And then we kind of launched it as a challenge 3 years ago. And I've done it the first, second, and this will be my third year doing it as the challenge. So I'm excited about that. I'm looking to do some different routes. So maybe that's something that some people will have questions about. Okay, so a couple things I wanted to ask. First, who in the live stream has gotten their welcome packet? The welcome packet includes a few goodies, some stickers, like the beautiful 6-pack, our beautiful 6-pack of Peak sticker. These are great. They're dishwasher safe. I've got one on my Hydro Flask. I had one on the back of my Xterra, and then we also have the patch. Now this is the goodie that right now is holding up our shipment. We just got a new fresh batch of 500 more of these patches today. And so this weekend we'll be shipping out all the February registrations. So if you registered in February, you can expect to see this sometime next week, probably. My daughter actually ships all the welcome kits out from her home in Pittsburgh, oddly enough. So it does take a few days to travel across the country, depending on weather and what's going on with that. But so be looking for those. We had a few people who they had bad addresses or they were returned or things like that. So we'll be sending those out as well. If you registered in January and you haven't received your packet, shoot me an email, jeff@socalhiker.net, and we'll be sure to make sure we'll check on that. And if we need to, we can send you out a replacement for that. It's really cool to see what some of the people are doing with the signs that come with that. And I'll share an example of that in a moment. In fact, I'll share an example right now. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to try to share my screen. And we'll go here. Let's see if this works. Looks like it's working. You can see it's kind of a split screen right now. I'm going to see if I can fix that so that it is full screen. Let's see. How do I do that? Here we go. Okay, so you hopefully can still hear me. What I'm sharing is an example from the hike log. So this is a hike log from Challenger Catherine. She hiked Mount Wilson on February 11th, and you can see she's put a little description in there and some great photos. A couple things that are really kind of neat. You can actually click on any of these photos to open up sort of a slideshow view. And these, you can even comment on these particular photos. So here's her black lab swimming in below Sturtevant Falls. She found a salamander on the trail. I wouldn't have picked that up, but okay, she did. And then here's what I wanted to show you. Here's what she's done with her sign to describe why she's taking the challenge. She's taking the challenge to motivate others to challenge themselves daily. And I think that's pretty cool. So check out these hike logs, and you can leave comments on the hike logs so you can cheer people on or ask questions and that kind of thing. So, and you can get to the hike logs from the 6-pack of Peaks menu and just go down to logged hikes, and it'll show you all of the hike logs. On that page, you'll also see the ability to filter by a particular peak. So this is kind of cool for if you want to see what the current conditions are on, say Mount Wilson. This shows you all the Mount Wilson hikes, or if you wanted to go to Mount Baldy, here's the Mount Baldy ones, and so on. So really cool way to kind of interact with the other challengers. Now let's see if I can switch back. Oh wait, I gotta go over here. Yeah, success. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in, and let's see. So one of the questions was, Sarah asked, with all the unexpected weather we've had in Los Angeles and throughout Southern California and the Sierras too, what would be the order to complete the peaks? Well, as you probably all know, Mount Wilson you can do pretty much any time. Even when there's snow, there's going to be maybe some snow on Mount Wilson if you're lucky. But for the most part, it's pretty clear most of the time. So Mount Wilson definitely you can do now. However, the other 5 peaks, Cucamonga, Baldy, San Bernardino, San Jacinto, and San Gorgonio, they really can't be done as hikes at this time. They are still considered winter mountaineering, requiring all the requisite equipment and, more importantly, the skills and the know-how to know when there are avalanche conditions, to know what kind of gear to use and how to use it, how to do self-arrest. All of those kinds of things need to be you need to handle, are a part of winter mountaineering. So I think probably the first question would be is, when will it be clear for you to hike any of these peaks? And right now, I would say May, hopefully. And, that's, my fingers are crossed for May. I know that we had a similar snowfall year in 2010 when I first did the 6-pack of peaks, or created the 6-pack of peaks. And we did I think Cucamonga maybe at the end of May, but even that was pushing it. A couple of years ago, we tried to do Cucamonga in May, even during the drought, but there was a freak snowstorm in May, and so we couldn't do it because it was just too treacherous on that north-facing slope. So watch the conditions. We'll keep watching them as well and posting updates on the site, and hopefully we'll have some better idea. Now you'll see that there are people who are hiking Mount Baldy, and there are people who are hiking San Jacinto, and even some of the other ones. These folks have winter mountaineering experience and skills. It's something that I'm just still learning myself. I took a winter mountaineering class last year. I've got the crampons and the ice axe. I know how to do self-arrest. I'm still learning more about avalanche safety and how to identify avalanche conditions. So my recommendation, if this is something that's new to you, just hold off. Hopefully in May, things will be a little bit better. As far as the sequence goes, Cucamonga is probably, I think probably San Jacinto is, and San Antonio or Mount Baldy will clear up earlier. So hopefully those you can do sooner. Cucamonga is one of the later ones to be clear up, and also San Bernardino has some sections that hold on to the snow kind of late into the year. So it could be June before those are really hikeable. And even in June, I would expect that there's going to be some patches of snow. So it might be nice to have some microspikes or something to just kind of bring them along in case. But patches you can kind of hike around, generally speaking. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so let's see. Next question I see here. You really want to do 2 hikes in April. You said Cucamonga. Okay, yeah. In April, possibly Mount Baldy summer, and possibly San Jacinto. Those would be the 2 that I would suggest. And I think it's just a matter of watching current trail conditions and getting feedback from other people who are doing it. What'll happen is on San Jacinto is that because it's a popular peak, and same with Baldy, is that a tread will be worn in, and depending on the storms that come in between now and then, it may well be that the tread's pretty well worn down to dirt in most areas, in which case you should be okay. But again, something to really be safe, kind of monitor the where things are going, and if they're doable in April, that I think we'll be lucky. But those would be the 2 that I would suggest. And I think I've answered actually the first 3 questions. When will they be clear enough to safely hike without snow gear? And I think for sure sometime in May, late May, June for sure, and possibly sooner. So let's see. Anyone else join? So we've had, okay. Any other questions? Because otherwise I can switch over and do a quick update. We mentioned that right now, Baldy, Cucamonga, San Bernardino, San Jacinto, San Gorgonio, those are all still in sort of a what I would call winter mountaineering state, not really hikes at this time. So be aware of that. We'll want to monitor what's going on with those. And again, the hike logs are a great place to do that. And if you see somebody has hiked one of those, you can go on their hike log, ask questions. What were the conditions like? What route did they take? Did they have to use specialized gear? That kind of thing. So highly recommend that. One other thing that I want to show you is, and this is something that's in the welcome packet. You probably saw something about Big City Mountaineers. This is our 3rd year supporting Big City Mountaineers through the 6-Pack of Peaks Challenge. And I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that they do, but essentially what they do is they work with underserved inner city youth who really oftentimes wouldn't otherwise get an opportunity to go hiking or backpacking in the mountains. It's just not part of something that they do. And this gives them an opportunity to do that in some really spectacular ways. They lead hikes up Mount Whitney, Mount Rainier, even Kilimanjaro, and some other really big peaks. And it can be a transformative experience for them as they realize, not only do they realize what they are capable of, but that they can, kind of break beyond what what they know and experience, what they've known and experienced to that time. But they also gain an appreciation for the outdoors, and that's really valuable as we see a more diverse demographic in the country. For us to have ongoing support for our parks and our public spaces, our wild places. So we've been supporting them through the 6-Pack of Peaks Challenge. This year we have 4% of all of the registrations going towards Big City Mountaineers, and we're encouraging you, if you choose, it's optional, to consider joining as part of our team. And you can there's no cost to join and create a fundraiser for it. And you can get your family, your friends, your coworkers to help contribute to that. And there's some nice perks along the way. So in fact, we're actually creating a special badge for your profile for the people who are participating in that fundraiser. I'm going to show you real quickly how you would get to that. So if we go back to screen share, and let's see. I'll switch this to full focus the screen. Basically, we have if you go to SoCalHiker.net/go BCM, go/BCM. It's in the welcome packet. It's going to take you to this page, which tells you how to set up your Big City Mountaineers fundraising page and to summit for someone. It talks a little bit about what they are, and there's a link to their website where you can find out more. Last year, we did raise $10,000 for Big City Mountaineers, and I'm hoping we can do much more than that. Basically, this is what you do to join the fundraiser, and you just simply click this link, and it'll take you to this page, which is on a website called CrowdRise. Right now, we just have 3 team members, myself, Jesse, and Yvonne, and you can see where we're at so far. And then to join the fundraiser, you would click this little gray button down here where it says fundraise for this team, and it's going to ask you to sign up. No cost. There's no even obligation. You can set your own goal. So if you want to set a goal of 100 or 500, that's up to you. And then you can get your friends and family, your coworkers to contribute. They make it really easy for you to share and tweet and put this on Facebook so that you can get those donations. And the great thing is that all of the donations come with a tax-deductible receipt. So it's completely tax-deductible, which is nice. So, you know, if you have friends or family, or if you have an employer who does matching, you might look into that just so we can help contribute to this great cause. So any questions? Hopefully you'll all sign up after this. Love to see you on here. We are going to create a special badge that'll go on the profiles of the people who are on the fundraising team, and hopefully do some fun things along the lines for those folks as well. Some special recognition for you for doing that. That's it on the Big City Mountaineers part. Let me stop this, and there we go. I'm back. Okay. Sarah, I see your battery's dying and you're still at work. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can catch the rest of this on the replay. This is actually being recorded, so we'll have a replay up that other people who couldn't make it can watch at their leisure. Any other questions about the 6-pack of peaks? You can post them in the chat or in the Q&A. I'm looking to see if there's any other ones. Oh, here's a question from Kevin. How has hiking changed since I first started, and where do you see the future of hiking going forwards? Great question, Kevin. How has it changed? Well, you know, I can tell you one thing for sure. When I first started hiking, this was a long time ago. I was back in the 1970s, and you know, the gear was much more rudimentary. We had external frame backpacks. We had you know, really heavy equipment. You know, I was wearing just whatever you had. I mean, there wasn't quite as much of an emphasis on gear as there is today. So if you were just backpacking, you know, I wore you know, Ocean Pacific board shorts or walk shorts when I was hiking, or my Levi's if it was cold. So jeans, yeah, you know, they say today cotton kills, but I lived through that. And you know, you didn't have GPS, you didn't have any of that kind of technology. When I was taking pictures, I was using film. No digital photography to automatically do all that. There wasn't any of the sharing that goes on at that level. I mean, you'd create a little photo album or something and share with your friends and family, but it wasn't online. So there was a lot of mystery, and there wasn't as much awareness of what's out there. So I think that's the thing that's really changed a lot. And I think one of the things where do I see it going in the future? I think there's a resurgence in a love for the outdoors. And I think the area that we need to change is that some of the appreciation for things like leave no trace and stewardship of the outdoors, how we all play a part in caring for our trails, in caring for our wilderness places, in making sure that they get the funding that they need, in doing trail maintenance and not cutting switchbacks, all of those kinds of things. Some of it, everything from etiquette to public support, needs probably more education. So we need to do a lot to kind of help educate folks as they get into hiking as to, you know, what's good manners and good etiquette on the trail, and you know, how do you follow and leave no trace principles, and you know, what kinds of things should you do or should you not do when you're out on the trail. And I think that's one of the areas where I think it's changed. Social media has made things much more accessible or visible, and so people go out and do stuff without necessarily having all the knowledge and experience and the upbringing that tells them, you know, sort of how to do things properly. So I think that's something that we can work on. I'm not sure. I hope that's where we go. So I'd be curious to hear where you think. Hi, Christy. Welcome from Southern Riverside County. I used to live out in Murrieta, out in that area. So I know that area well. And I'm glad that you joined us. This is your first time doing this challenge. It should be a lot of fun. Wildemar, yeah, I know the area well. I lived right near there. I lived out there for almost 20 years. So I know it pretty well. Any other questions before we close down? Let's see, it's 12:21. I'm going to go for another 9 minutes. So this is your chance to. And if you want to go live with me, if you're brave enough to go on video, we can do that too. Just maybe leave me a note and I'll invite you to the video. Yeah, Kevin, you're right. Leave no trace is something, and I'd love to do something more on SoCal Hiker as well, just to kind of emphasize what that's about and how people can do that, and make sure that all of our challengers are aware of that as well. You know, there's things that I've learned over time, like even things like orange peels that a lot of people will toss thinking it's biodegradable, which of course it is. That's not leave no trace. That leaves a trace, and it actually can be damaging to the environment or damaging to the wildlife. So we want to make sure to even pack out stuff like orange peels or sunflower shells and things like that. Christy asks if I know how to change teams on CrowdRise if you accidentally join the wrong team. I think you'd have to, or if you're, Christy, are you talking about the 6-pack of Peaks Challenge team that we just talked about, or are you talking about the Climb for Heroes Challenge, which is another great event? If you haven't, we're going to be doing Climb for Challenge on May 23rd. It's a Sunday, and it's a fundraiser for the Heroes Project, which takes the works with disabled veterans. These are guys and gals who have lost a leg in the service to our country. The Heroes Project takes these folks and works with them to kind of rehabilitate and get them kind of similar to Big City Mountaineers, but instead of working with inner city youth, they're working with these disabled vets, and they're taking them up some of the 7 summits around the globe. So I think last year, one of the guys went up Everest, one of the first from the Heroes Project to summit Everest. They've had a couple of them go do Kilimanjaro and some of the other peaks around the world. So really great. It's a really great fundraiser, and there's about 1,000 people each year. So it's a really fun event. There is a $100 minimum fundraising requirement. That's from the Heroes Project. That's not from us at all. So when you join a team, really you're just saying, hey, we're a group that we're going to, organize and hike and work together to kind of help that organization. You'll get a chance to meet some of the vets in the program on the way, and there's a lot of great perks along with that. So they provide breakfast, coffee, snacks, T-shirts, all kinds of other swag, depending on how far up the mountain you get. And we're looking at doing a special T-shirt for Team SoCal Hiker. Now, back to Christy's question: can you switch? Yes, you can. I don't know exactly how. I think you'll have to contact the Heroes Project and ask them to make that switch for you, because I can't do that for you, but they can. So they can switch you from one team to another, or whatever you need to do. And you know, honestly, if you're part of another team, I know there's a lot of great teams out there. That's fine too. It all goes to the same place, ultimately, the Heroes Project. So you're as long as you're signed up, I think that's great. You're welcome, Christy. Any other questions? Last questions before we start to wrap up this month's live stream. You will see on my wall here, I've got my Mount Wilson map up. One of the questions that a lot of people ask me is what kind of navigation tools I use. And if you've looked on the forums or in the Facebook group, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Gaia GPS for the iPhone. They also have an Android version. I use that for tracking primarily, but I always carry a map, a paper map. And I like the Tom Harrison maps like this one. It's waterproof, so it's very durable. It doesn't matter if it's raining or whatever, it'll stay good. And I like that as sort of the backup, and it's quick and easy. It doesn't matter if your battery dies or anything. You can whip that out. You kind of see where you're at, and you can see more than just the specific trail that you're on. You can see the broader area. So I really recommend these maps. When I post the replay for this, I'll include a link to those maps. So if you don't have one, you can get one. Thank you, Kevin, for the kind words. I hope so too, and I'll keep you posted. All right, well, we're coming up on the end of the live stream. Any last, maybe time for one more question if there is one? And it doesn't look like there are. Let me check over here. No, I think we've answered the question. So, hey guys, I really appreciate you joining today. This is a lot of fun for me. It's a great way for me to be able to connect with folks. I hope that maybe next time we can do something where I can have one or more of you join me on video, which would be kind of fun because then I could hear you and see you as well. So that'd be kind of a fun way to interact. And we may, if you're interested, do have like a guest on. So that would also be kind of fun. If there's any particular specific subject you'd like to us to include in our March live stream, let me know. And I'll be sure to add that to the list. All right. Thanks, everybody. It goes really fast, this 30 minutes. I really appreciate you guys joining us. And I hope that we'll see you signing up for the Big City Mountaineers fundraiser. Let us join our team and help us raise some money for Big City Mountaineers, a really great organization. And it doesn't cost you anything to be a part of that. And you get some great recognition, hopefully, in the end. So it's a great way to kind of help motivate you also to do the six-pack when you have some higher purpose beyond just doing the physical challenge or whatever else. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next month, and I'll see you in the forums. In the meantime, Jeff Hester from SoCal Hiker signing off.